What's up, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast with me and Kyle and 4/5 of the band Eyes of Salt, Denver, Colorado. Gary, you're the lone guy out in Atlanta, right?
Yep, all by my lonesome.
All by your lonesome. Well, hey guys, we are super excited to have you guys on. You guys have dropped probably 3 of what could be 2026's best songs of the year, and we're only in March. Like, what you guys are putting out is absolutely fantastic. It's incredible. Super glad to have you guys on. And yeah, let's just really quick so everyone can give voices to names, run through, kick us off. Gary, we'll go Gary, Jacob, Chris, then Aaron. So,
hello, this is Gary.
What's up? This is Jacob.
Hey guys, Chris, drummer.
Aaron, guitar.
Sick. Okay. Well, go ahead, Kyle.
When starting this, it's counting down like 3, 2, 1. Was it you, Gary, that was saying 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
We
every
see
time
your
I do
mouth
that,
Wayne.
You know, where he's like, stop counting with, you know.
Yeah.
Counting. So.
Yeah, you got to pull the Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, Eyes of Salt. Give us a quick synopsis. Melodic hardcore, metallic hardcore. How do you guys want to categorize yourself in this age where we shouldn't be putting people in genres?
Gary, take this one.
Yeah, I mean, melodic and metallic is kind of like we somehow found a way to blend 2 genres that have no business being together. Like metallic hardcore and melodic hardcore aren't really synonymous, but we were like, let's find a way to bring it in.
So I'm like the resident like metalhead out of everybody. So I think that kind of helped to kind of bring that stuff together. So
You say metalhead, what metal are you talking about?
Like death metal,
metal
black
in
metal,
general.
Like tech death. That's like all my like right up my alley kind of stuff. Like album of the year already dropped. It's a new record from Worm called Necropalace. I highly recommend everybody check it out. It's amazing. So
All right. That's dope.
We all have a real eclectic background, so I think that's where a lot of our blending of different genres comes from. So I definitely did not come from a metal or even hardcore background. I was kind of like a pop punk rock kid, post-hardcore kid. So that definitely shines through with like my drumming style. Like the style of my drums is kind of the style of my drums. I could lean in different ways and kind of make it sound a little bit more traditional hardcore or more metallic hardcore, but it's always going to be a little bit poppy. to be honest.
I love that. To be honest with you, we've always said like the best pop punk is pop punk rooted in hardcore. So if you're going to drum with like a pop punk flair in a hardcore band, I'm 100% here for it.
Especially when we got like both of our guitarists are there, you know, David, who's not here, he's more kind of straight down the middle, hardcore, beat down hardcore type of guy. Aaron's on the metal side. So both of them are bringing riffs. So I just let them kind of go nuts and find the opportunity when the drums can kind of shine through too.
All the like melodic parts that you guys talked about on like the last podcast that you really like, that's all Chris that writes that stuff. So that's like completely outside my wheelhouse. So
all the octave stuff, the interlude stuff, there'll be another interlude-y type of song on the full length coming out next month. That's kind of like, that's one of my contributions to the band.
Yeah, we basically have 4 people in the band that play guitar and me.
Okay.
And then Gary.
Gary's actually just our producer.
Gary is a professional mouth ripper. It'd be like, I need to
ripper.
write a song that's like, no, and like, David's like, oh, I understand that, and he goes and writes it. That's kind of what it is.
That's true.
That's
Gary's
talent.
Yeah, if there's any contribution that I have, it's like helping with like song structure or just like transitions to like go into like the next part of the song. I also have like a really, really weird like freak memory of like if I hear a riff that's been written, or like if one of the guys like plays a riff that's like too close to something else, I'll be like, oh wait, that's this song on this album. Like we can't do that, it's too close. But it'll be some fucking obscure band that nobody remembers. So
But we still don't want to live.
Like we should keep that riff. Like that riff has been recycled.
You might be the only person in hardcore that cares about that, right?
Yeah.
Those guys be ripping stuff all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically everybody in the band, I told them like when we started playing, or not even just playing, but writing music, like I don't want it to be cookie cutter. Like I don't want it to sound like, I don't want it to be pigeonholed in one genre of like subgenre of hardcore, because it, you know, it all kind of starts like lumping together, and you know we're kind of seeing that right now in hardcore. There's like the, you know, like the slam death metal hardcore stuff. There's like the beatdown hardcore, and then there's like the opposite side of it, which is like the real like punk influence
Youth
type.
Crew style.
Yeah, I think Youth Crew is actually starting to like make its way back up again. But I was talking about like in Denver we have Convulse Records, and Convulse puts out a lot of those type of bands like Destiny Bond. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I would throw them in the same genre of like Gum and Scowl and you know, like Spy to me is adjacent to those bands. So it's more of like the, you know,
More
just
punk
like,
leaning.
yeah, the grimy like heavy punk sound.
Yeah.
So is it?
Yeah, we just didn't want to be lumped into anything. So I told everybody, I was like, I just don't want it to be cookie cutter.
Which, like, mission successful, because it definitely doesn't sound like that. And I think that's something that we said when we talked about you guys. It drew us to you is like, I'm like really a fan of a lot of the younger stuff that's coming, like these kids that are playing hardcore. Like, obviously we need that, but there's just something to say about like guys that have been around a while that are doing it different, if that makes sense, right? Because like you either do get lumped into like the beatdown slam. Like we went to Flyover Fest in Oklahoma, and it was like one day of the festival was all slam bands.
Yep.
You know, and then the next day was all like more punk influenced Youth Crew type stuff. It was just kind of funny to see that, because it's like, this is literally what hardcore is in 2025, you know?
Yeah.
But is it hard? You know, you guys say you have like a really eclectic background of music and stuff. Is it hard to like pinpoint a sound though to play?
Yeah.
Do you guys have to reel each other in a lot, or
Yes.
are you pretty? Yeah. Okay.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
Like for the writing and stuff, like David and I, our other guitarists, will usually bring just like an idea, one riff, or maybe like one small thing. I work and do this and then hang out in my basement, and we kind of did all the pre-production and stuff and wrote in my basement. And we're pretty, I mean, for like lack of a better term, like pretty brutal with one another when it comes to like, that sucks, like that's not going to work kind of stuff. But it definitely helps. And I mean, sometimes you just got to, you know, swallow your pride. But the writing process for this, like, at least for my own self, like, was really difficult. I feel like, to try to find like that middle ground for everything. So I had a really, it was, you know, fulfilling, I guess, but it was really difficult for me. I would, you know, mull over one part over and over and over and over and over again until I felt like it was right. And then I would present it, and they'd be like, "No, that doesn't work." I'm like, "All right, great." On this one little part, and it got shot down. That sucks. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's, you know, good for the goose, good for the gander, kind of thing. So,
and it kind of ends up being like, whatever you work on is, it probably starts in your own personal comfort zone, and then when we're trying to mold it into an Eyes of Salt song, we kind of just start pulling it from the periphery into something that makes sense for us in particular. Yeah. So like the stuff that I would write, it's probably going to be a little bit too much post-hardcore, a little bit too much melodic. It's not going to have like the moshy breakdown parts. It's definitely not going to be riffy like anything that Aaron brings to the table with his very technical guitar playing. But we can always find a way to move it from the edges into what sounds like a more centralized Eyes Assault song. So to get to Aaron's point, yeah, it's difficult, but it's a labor of love, and like this is what we all collectively want it to be and what we signed up for. So no one ever comes with a song and then we say, okay, that's this song. We're not gonna touch it. You know, this is David's song or this is Aaron's song. Like you bring something to the table, and then we all individually throw our own stuff at it to make it Eyes Assault.
Sick. Okay. So Chris, post-hardcore pop punk. Aaron, black metal, satanic dude. Gary, no musical prowess. Jacob, where do you fall in all of this?
So I grew up in Oxnard, California, and it's like a big punk scene there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I grew up more on punk, more on I mean, my favorite genre is definitely melodic hardcore though. Like my favorite bands for sure, like Sinking Chips, and like, but I also grew up on like bands like the Missing 23rd. That's probably like one of my top bands forever. And then AFI, I love old AFI. I mean, I love new AFI too, but old AFI is just great. And then At the Drive-In is probably like my favorite band of all time. So yeah, it's just kind of a mix of different music for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like my part of the band tends to be like I'm more of a on the spot. I could come up with something and oh, that's really cool, and this is really cool. We could piece this together with something like this, and that I feel like that tends to be more like my role in the band. I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you're like the was it the assistant to the regional manager to Gary kind of thing?
Stuff. Yeah.
I would say he's more the assistant since he doesn't play an instrument.
It's true. It's true.
Fair, valid.
I have,
But there's got to be the one boss. There's got to be the boss who just gives direction, right?
Yeah.
So
We're-
you definitely
we're-
need that.
I feel like we're all kind of bosses in our own way, man. Like we all kind of contribute our own thing. We all, and even as like a band, like we all have different boss roles for the band, and then it's like five regional managers working together. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. We
So
are-
nothing gets done.
We are
Yeah.
a well-oiled DIY machine.
Yeah.
Sick. No, love that. All right, Jacob, go back on mute so you don't kill yourself driving.
There was one.
So,
He's from
Okay.
California. We do this all the time.
Yeah, I do. This is normal. All right.
all good. So here's the thing. Everything that you guys have said, I can hear in your guys' music. So because of the melodic parts, you hear the post-hardcore, the pop punk, some of that stuff. Aaron, like the tremolo picking, the speed, all that kind of stuff definitely pulls from the metal. You're talking like punk influences. Obviously, you're punk influenced, right? Like it definitely all comes together. So everything you're saying makes sense when you put it all together 100%. The first thing that I said, and this was like just Kyle sending me your music, I hadn't even looked you guys up kind of thing, was I was like, is it wrong to say like this is like Comeback Kid 2.0? So how do you guys feel about like hearing comparisons? Let me ask you guys that. How do you feel about hearing like a comparison to a band like a Comeback Kid?
I personally don't hate it because I fucking love. I know we actually. I'm pretty sure all of us can openly say like we all love Comeback Kid, and when Chris and I first got introduced and I like pitched him the idea of like playing in a hardcore band, he was like, dude, I don't know how to play hardcore. And I was like, that's fine. Like, do you know how to play pop punk? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, cool, then you know how to play hardcore.
Right.
That really was it. And I was like, but if you really want to start like into like hardcore territory and like not just like the pop punk world, like here are these albums and one of the ones was Comeback Kid. It was Symptoms and Cures. Like a lot of people will go to like Turn It Around or Wake the Dead, but I was like Symptoms and Cures because I feel like to me that was like the peak of writing for Comeback Kid. I love everything they've done, but for me that's like my personal favorite. But I was like, listen to this, and it's got a little bit of everything. And then I gave him Down to Nothing. I think I gave him The Hope Conspiracy. Incendiary was one of them. So I was like, take everything that I just sent you and like put it in a blender. And so, you know, naturally there's going to be a lot of influence from that. But yeah, I don't think any of us would be upset by having that comparison. But even still, like being thrown in that realm, we still try to be different enough that like people aren't like, this is, it's not like a no warning guns up situation, right? Where like the two bands ended up sounding almost exactly the same. Like we like the comparison, but like we still want to stand on our own 2 feet and not have everybody think like this is just a Comeback Kid ripoff band, because I don't think we are.
You are absolutely not. And that wasn't my intention to say that.
No.
It's like my mind goes to like, I've got to, number one, I either have to put you in a genre, which because you were doing melodic and metallic, I'm like, I can't do that. So what band do you sound like? And Comeback Kid was the first one that just like popped to my mind.
Yeah, and, I guess another way to put it, do bands get bummed out when they're compared to other bands? Or is it just
personally, I don't. No. For myself, no.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's one that we love and we've listened to for 15 or 20 years, and we got to play with them at their,
20
anniversary show
for 20-year Wake the Dead show.
Yeah, 20-year Wake the Dead show.
Yeah.
I mean, how fucking sick was that?
I think it's the compliment, honestly.
So me and Trevor played in a band in high school, and a lot of people compared us to shitting in a can. So I just like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, if you're a fan of that, then
I guess if you're a fan of that.
Yeah. Look, there's an
Two Girls, One Cup, right?
Yeah.
That's
one man, one jar. Library stuff there. So
that's right.
Did you say One Guy, One Cup? That was already done too, except it was a jar.
I thought that was One Guy, One Jar.
It's One Man, One Jar, guys. Come on.
Brutal. So
definitely fried some neurons when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Denver hardcore scene. So did you guys mostly grow up in the Denver metro area kind of thing, or like where are you guys from other than Jacob growing up in Cali?
I've lived here my whole life. Started playing like bands and stuff probably like 2003, 2004, when definitely like scenester, like screamo stuff was definitely kicking off. So I was in a couple bands back then for that kind of stuff. We kind of stayed in the in the community and stuff for a while, and then had to start doing adult stuff, got married, that kind of thing, and was out for a little bit until Gary reached out to me. But yeah, I've lived here my whole life, but the music scene and kind of hardcore scene in general here, I feel has always been really good, really supportive, and a lot of really, really, really good bands. And that's not just for hardcore. I would say like the metal scene here and stuff is really, really, really good too. And I definitely still play a part in that as well.
So I'm not a Denver local. Gary is. He's got his finger on the pulse. He's a lifer here before he moved to Atlanta. But I grew up in West Virginia, and then I stayed there for most of my early adult life. And then I started ping-ponging everywhere with medical training before I landed here. I've been here for about 5 years. So all of my Denver hardcore knowledge has basically been since I joined the band a few years ago, and just kind of get to know everybody. But I agree with what Aaron said. Everything is super supportive. It's a little bit dichotomous sometimes in my experience. Like, it's not a completely and utterly unified hardcore scene. Like everyone does seem to like to stick to their, whatever bubble they're in sometimes. But Gary can speak a lot more intelligently about that than me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going to hardcore shows. I think I went to my first one in 2004, 2005. But either way, yeah, I've seen like a lot of the ups and downs in hardcore in Denver. But the one thing I will say is like we've always kind of been. It's like Oklahoma, you know. There's like Flyover Fest. We've kind of been a flyover state a lot when I was growing up. Like a lot of the bands just don't want to get to Denver because the closest major city is like, you know, you
go to Salt Lake City or
Yeah.
Albuquerque or
You're coming to us. Yeah. We're Salt Lake.
Yeah.
8 hours
or you go to like Kansas City or like is it Kansas City that's like 8 hours away?
Omaha. Omaha's like 8 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Omaha is another one.
Yep.
In Omaha.
But those are a lot more accessible to like other places. So like if you played in Omaha, like you're not far from like Minnesota or Idaho or Chicago even. Like I think you're closer to Chicago than you are to Denver. Well, maybe, whatever. But yeah, Colorado has always had like a really diverse hardcore scene. Like there's always been a little bit of everything for anyone. But yeah, I think Chris did say it best. Like there's always kind of been like a little bit of a division in hardcore, which I don't think it's like Denver specific. I think that's just hardcore in general. Like subgenres will split off and then everybody will kind of choose their own team. But I think in the grand scheme of things, you know, within those little communities, like people are so supportive. Like they're diehards, you know. Like at the Bane show, there was like 900 people there or something like that, and
dang.
so there were definitely a lot of people that I haven't seen before. But like it was like a giant reunion. Like you know, people there to see the new bands that were playing, people there to see like the generation before with Rotting Out, people there to see Bane from like 2 generations before that. So like it's a testament to how strong Colorado hardcore is, because there were people at that show that saw Bane for the first time in 1999. Like, you know, that Bane's done it for almost 30 years, and there are people at the shows that have been doing it just as long. So yeah, Denver has always had like a really strong community based around hardcore, and I think it's kind of gone overlooked. And I think just recently we've started picking up a lot of steam and a lot of momentum with bands that have been coming out of Denver.
Okay, let's talk about that, because that's where I was hoping this conversation led. You guys are incredible right now. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Obviously, you guys, Moral Law, Time Heist, Playing for Keeps, all these bands that are dropping, Destiny Bond you mentioned earlier, insane. There's so much good music coming out of Colorado right now, and it is all so pissed off. Like message driven, you know, obviously you guys with the political front, you have again the Time Heist, Moral Law with the veganism, things along those lines. Is there something about Colorado or something happening within the state or the communities that's just, I mean, obviously the world's shit. We know the world's shit. But what about like your guys' community in general? Like, why is there so much good, pissed off music coming out from there right now?
I think Denver as a whole is a really, and Colorado in general is a really, I can't think of the word, but like a really aware state, I guess. And people can see, you know, to your point, like the world is fucking garbage and people are not, you know, having a good time, I guess. And people in Colorado and Denver are extremely cognizant of that. And I think that, you know, it gets reflected in that, in the music and in the messaging. So
I really like that definition of, because like aware is a very good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. I think from my perspective, as somebody that like Aaron was born and raised in Colorado, I moved to Colorado with my family when I was 7. So, I spent my whole life in Colorado, and I think like with the like we saw like a really big shift in the economical state of things in Colorado, specifically because of like the marijuana boom. And I think, although it did bring a lot of good to the state and like revenue to the state and everything like that, like you just see that revenue being allocated to, you know, bullshit that doesn't actually benefit people the way that it was intended to begin with. As well as like, again, from an economic standpoint, like all of my lyrics that you'll hear, not all, but like a lot of the lyrics you'll hear on the new record is like it's so focused on like disparity and like how much of a role like money plays in our everyday life, and how basically like people are being like pushed out of their homes because the real estate market is all private equity, and um, it's just hard to stay afloat without feeling like you're drowning. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Colorado does a lot of dumb shit too when it comes to like economic policies. Like we have something called Tabor, where basically like they can't raise any kind of taxes and allocate it to schools and school lunches without putting it to a vote, and it always gets fucking voted down because people get like a $50 tax refund extra at the end of the year, and I want my $50 rather than benefiting my community and children and school lunches and daycare and all that kind of stuff. So living here my whole life, it's been a policy, and I mean it's one small thing, but you see that kind of stuff and it just gets frustrating and maddening when people are aware of what's going on but nobody fucking does anything to fix it. And it's the short-term gain, and to Gary's point, like private equity buying up the real estate market here is absolutely god awful, and whole neighborhoods get bought up by BlackRock and then turned into rental homes that people can't afford. So it's really bad. And I think a lot of people here are definitely cognizant of that.
Yeah, I think it all like kind of goes back into what I was saying with like hardcore in general. Like people in their communities, like communities are very strong, and I think in hardcore especially, we we as people are so ingrained in our communities that like we want to do everything we can to fight for them, whether it's veganism with moral law, like race issues with playing for keeps, straight edge for time heist, you know, political and economic issues with us. Like there's always something that needs to be spoken of, and I think in Colorado especially, like we actually want to do everything we can to help our people, even if it's just saying something.
Like the amount of fundraiser shows and stuff that have in Colorado and like Denver specifically, just over the last 3, 4, 5 months or so for anti-ICE organizations, immigrant right organizations and stuff. It's really, really, really inspiring to see just the sheer volume of shows that have happened that are straight 100% proceeds go to these organizations. So the hardcore community and like the music community at large in Colorado is really, really, really good about that kind of stuff. So which kind of gives you a little bit of more oomph to kind of keep going on that.
Yeah, we actually have a venue that just opened up called Annie Up, and it's complete DIY space run by 2 people from Colorado, and basically every show is ticket price, and it's if you bring in canned food, like they lower your ticket price at the door, and that's every single show so far. Like they're gonna do like a clothing drive,
Yep.
and you know, $20 at the door. If you bring in clothes, it's like $17 or whatever. So yeah, and that's the MO of this venue. Like they always want to be doing something more.
That's cool. I mean, I love hearing all that, and you know, that is a big part, I think, of what draws me and Trevor to the scene. And what's funny is like my wife is not a part of this stuff at all, but
Same.
she is Guatemalan, like her family are immigrants, and obviously when all the ICE stuff happened, that's like a big deal to us. And I took her to a local show here like a month ago, and the amount of people wearing fuck ICE shirts. Like my wife was like, she's like, how can people in a scene be like so open to this, you know? And everyone's cool with it. Everyone's talking about it. And it's like, it sucks, but it is kind of a unique thing to this. But time and time again, like this scene tends to be the ones fighting for, you know, the right side of it. And I respect that. And I appreciate like the lyrics that you guys have and the message that you spread. And my question about that, Gary, is like, I don't know if you're the sole lyric writer. I don't know. There might be others that help, but
Yep,
like
that's all Gary.
that's all Gary. Okay.
There's his contribution. We got
There's his
it.
contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still not
Huge contribution.
Is it hard to like write about this stuff and have it be done in a way that like I feel like it'd be really easy if I was writing the lyrics and I was just saying fuck ICE the entire time, right? But like your lyrics seem to do it in a way that is like poetic in a message. Like, is there a line that's like, nah, this is too on the nose, it needs to be a better story with it? Or is it just like, I'm going to throw it out there?
I think no, I feel like anytime you listen to one of my songs, like, or our song, but like anytime you listen to my lyrics, like you'll almost always know what that song is about. Like no matter which way I word it, or if it was like a simple way, or you know, like you said, like a more poetic way, like you'll always kind of know what the message is in that song. And I really didn't want that to be lost. Like I really I love bands that are like super metaphorical and poetic, and I like respect to those people, but like to me it's always been more of like the message delivery. But yeah, like I do have trouble sometimes like recording or like writing a song or like writing the lyrics to a song without making it like too repetitive or too predictable, or just like the flow or like the pattern of the vocals that go over the song. I try to change it up somehow, and sometimes I'll sit with the song. Like I had the lyrics to Melt kind of for a decent amount of time, and then I was like, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna put these in this song because the song is so chaotic. And then we were literally sitting in the studio, and I hadn't like practiced it at all. I was like, just hit record. Like, I think I have a good idea. And it ended up being the song and how we wanted it to be. But yeah, sometimes it's one of those things, like if you think too much about it, it's going to fail. So a lot of the time I will try to just write something that feels meaningful, but not sounds like it's written by a third grader.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
go ahead,
another.
Chris.
I think that's another unique thing, maybe about our band dynamic in general, is that like we'll fully demo all of the songs, and they'll be like pretty decently polished. We'll use them as scratch tracks when we go into the studio. But there has yet to be a song that we've completed together as a band that we've known what the lyrics are or what the cadence of the lyrics will be before we're actively in the studio hearing it live in real time for the first time. So we put a lot of faith in Gary and his ability to, like, he knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for a long time. but it really is like you'll be in the studio for however long it takes. They'll do drums day one, then bass, then guitars, and on the last day Gary will be back and clean up, but we're all still there because we're excited to hear what the fucking song is going to actually sound like with lyrics.
That's why I stick around too, because I want to hear what it's going to sound like.
So I wanted to ask you specifically, going back to the lyrics and stuff, No Greater Truth. This is my favorite song you guys have put out. It's incredible. And the thing that caught me, and I said this on the podcast when I was talking about you guys, I wanted to ask you about this, but it's the dichotomy that you put in there. The dichotomy of I've always been a sucker for a happy ending, and at the end of the song, the American dream is a fucking fallacy. Like, there is such a pull and give and take in just those two lines itself. Like, what was the idea behind this one specifically? And like, how did you create that idea?
A lot of it really was kind of like hold on. Are Aaron and Chris and Aaron, did you guys meet yourselves? Are you talking shit? Because they're gone.
They're gone. They're just gone.
They might be like, we're not going to stick around for this.
No, I think this line has actually gotten, like, I've gotten a lot of questions about, like, this whole song is so negative and pissed off, and then you have this random line like, I've always been a sucker for a happy ending. It's like, yeah, it's basically like the confusion is that we're never going to get a happy ending. Like, I've always been a sucker for a happy ending, and like the key word in it is sucker, because like you're sold this American dream, which we're never going to have. And it's more of like the line, oh, looks like their phone died. So they're going to sign back on with a different phone. Yeah, I've always been a sucker for a happy ending is kind of like a call directly to like the album, like the name of the album, like Collapse of the Infinite, because like my happy ending is our infinity collapsing.
Man, I love that, and I don't love that at the same time because it makes me feel too much. So
this is cheesy, but I thought of the line from The Matrix where Mr. Smith's like, hope is humanity's greatest strength and weakness, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you're fed this dream and you want to believe it, but you look at the reality of things and you're like, yeah, it's not real. You know?
I mean, it's the entire message of our band. That's what it is. It's like everything is hopeless, but at the same time, like we're on this stage trying to tell everybody like it feels hopeless, but like we're trying to do something about it. So like having that hope of like we're trying. The Minor Threat said, at least I'm fucking trying, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Now.
Where's the like take two?
We're back.
Hey,
Okay,
we're back.
cool.
We're therapy right now.
We had
Technical
a lovely
difficulties.
sports conversation for just a second
Thanks,
there.
Aaron. You derailed everything.
And now we'll get back to the doom and gloom of the terrible society we live in.
Yes.
So,
Not you.
all right. Thank you, Gary, for
Hi,
that
Oliver.
fantastic explanation of No Greater Truth. Again, that song is incredible. Is by far my favorite
Mr.
thing
Pit
that you've
Therapy,
put out.
are you here?
I
was
think
that?
honestly, if I remember correctly, I think that was the one that we had for the longest, and it took us the longest to finish that one, I think, as well. Unless Gary already said that. I'm sorry.
I did not,
What's he talking
but
about?
he's right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the more traditional of song structures too. Like we very rarely seem to like go back.
To anything. Yeah.
It's not like, intro verse chorus bridge, do another like prolonged chorus, but it ended up kind of working out like that. I think that ends up being unique for Eyes of Salt, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was definitely the most difficult one to see to fruition.
Interesting. Well, it's great. I mean, the 3 songs you guys have dropped, so Melt, No Greater Truth, Hiding Behind Comfort, all fantastic. All of this is coming out on War Records.
Yep.
How'd you guys get hooked up with War?
Gary?
We reached out to War when we wrote the EP. And I just don't think it worked out because, you know, the EP hadn't even come out at the time yet. And we hadn't played like any real big, like substantial shows or anything. So we were basically just riding on a demo. So we were like, oh, it's probably not going to work out this time. But just like based on like Andrew's history in hardcore, and, you know, him running War, I think our values on hardcore aligned very much. It was, you know, it was just like a record label that we really wanted to go after. There were a few others on our list, but like War was always in the discussion. So I reached out, and then a friend of ours, Adam, he reached out to Andrew from War as well, and we just got the conversation started. We talked on the phone for a little while, and he was like, yeah, look, you know, think about it and let me know. And then we thought about it for all of like 10 minutes, and we're like, all right.
Yeah, it didn't take very long.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do the plug for you right now. Pre-orders are live at warrecords.com. I have pre-ordered the vinyl. I'm super stoked for it.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank you.
11 songs. That's what we're dropping.
Yep.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay.
I thank you because I talk a lot of crap on EPs, and I know they're necessary, but what made you decide to do a full length instead of just more EPs?
Because I hate you.
Yes.
I think Gary and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, when we first started writing or just kind of, you know, just throwing, you know, parts and riffs at the wall to kind of see what sticks, Gary and I started talking overall kind of feel and theme of what we wanted to go for. And I think that was about the time when we decided we just wanted to go just do it as much as we could. And hey, we're old now, and let's just go balls to the wall and see if we can do a full length instead of just, okay, 4 songs and then 2 or 3 songs. Let's just see what we can do. So I think right from the get go, we knew that's what we were shooting for.
Yeah.
And I think like we also were like, well, we did an EP, and like the natural next step was let's do an LP. I feel like we've been talking about it since we did the EP.
Yeah.
The
You
next
say
thing we
that.
do is the LP.
You say that, but most bands who started in 2021 have about 6 EPs out right now and no full lengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're also
Guys,
going
it
off
drives
of,
me
like,
so fucking
2005
crazy.
Motto.
Sorry, Jacob.
We're
Gary took the spotlight again. What were you saying? I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm talking a lot of shit, Gary. I'm sorry. I love you, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't be doing that. Don't hang up on us.
No,
Oh, fuck Gary. It's all good.
All right. Back to you, Jacob.
I'm just kidding, Gary. I love you too. No, I mean we're also old. Like we're all late 30s, and I think one of us might be in our 40s. But we're
I'm fucking old now.
If you think about it, like I mean, for us back then, like when we were growing up, that was like the natural step. Like the EP comes out, then the LP comes out. So I feel like we kind of live by that same motto.
Yeah. It's a missed art now in albums to have an album that flows a certain way. And you brought up interludes. Like bands don't do interludes anymore because they all have EPs. And I love a good interlude. Your EP has an interlude, and I love it.
I think something for me that I wanted to do, I love, like I said, you know, metal and that kind of stuff. But I actually, I guess it's like top 2 bands of all time for me is Queensryche of all bands. Like I absolutely love Queensryche, and one of my favorite records of all time is Operation Mindcrime, and that's a concept record. And you know, the full length isn't necessarily a concept record, but I knew because of how much I love Operation Mindcrime, I wanted to have an overall theme and concept, I guess. So again, kind of what Jacob said, going back to what I like and what we like and what I listened to a ton as like a kid and during my formative years, like I wanted to try to do the same thing, I guess. But yeah, Operation Mindcrime, best concept album of all time, hands down.
Sick. Gary, what's the pure disdain for EPs?
I just think they're too short. I want more. That's it. Like, it sucks for me. Like, I've always been a full album guy. Like, I press play and I don't want to have to change the album for like, a decent amount of time. Like,
Yep.
I think EPs are great, but for me, like, I want more, and EPs don't fulfill me enough, and I just want. I'll say it over and over. I want more. I like, especially like a band that comes out with something so fucking good. Like, was it Defeater that did? Is it Travels?
Travels.
Yeah, that was
Travels.
what 5 or 6 songs, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
More.
And I was like, "Give me more, please."
Yep.
But like everything Defeater does is like,
I want more of it.
like thought out and planned. But yeah, I just, and plus for me specifically, like I wanted more to give. Like, I had more to say than just 6 songs. So, from the start, we knew we wanted to push for at least 9 songs. And then we did an interlude and then re-recorded a song from our demo. And then kind of gave it like a more, like modern take than we did from the demo.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Kyle.
I was just gonna say, I love hearing that because we're all around the same age here. And I just think back about the listening experience was more than just like listening, right? Like, we used to pull the lyric sheets out of CDs, and we would look at the cover art and we would talk about our favorite album covers and all these things. And it's like, I want that more. And I think that's a big part of the EPs too. And like, I get they serve a purpose. You're a new band. Like, you got to just get songs out. People got to start listening to stuff. But like, I miss the like artisticness of an album release, like, I love that vinyl's coming back because it gives me something to hold again.
Yep.
It gives me, you have to put thought in an album cover now, right? Because people are going to have that. And they're going to physically look at it. I'm not just going to throw it up on my phone and never look at it again.
I can't do audiobooks and like Kindle shit. I have to have like a physical copy of the book that I'm reading. And for me, like, music's the same way.
Yeah, me and Trevor were just talking about how much we can't remember lyrics anymore. And it's like, well, it's probably because we don't sit there and read them,
Yep.
30 times while we're listening to a song.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Which leads me back to your vocal style is very appreciated because I can understand your lyrics and there are memorable lines. So 2 years between the EP and what the full length will be. In the age that we live in, because again, we're all the same age here, do you feel like that's too much of a space to maintain listeners, to have listeners grow with you? Like, that's what we've heard. The reason for all the EP purposes is we got to put songs out every single year. And like, we, again, didn't grow up with that. So like, what do you guys think about being in a band today versus like, I know a lot of you guys played, if not all of you guys played in stuff in the early mid 2000s, 2008 to 2010 kind of thing.
I mean, it was definitely like a, for me, like, not a concern, I guess, but it was something that I was cognizant of. Like, man, are we just going to kind of fall off because we haven't put out anything new for 2 years essentially? And I think we didn't play. I think the first time we played one of the songs off the full length was like August of last year. I think when we played with Fox Lake, I think we did 2 or 3 of the songs. I think the 2 or 3 songs off the full length that one show, and that was the only new stuff we'd had for a year and a half. So it's definitely something that I was not concerned, but like aware of, I guess. Like, it was something to, kind of consider. But I think we've somehow managed to do it to where we haven't had, a significant drop off or anything like that in interest or, from people or from, labels or anything like that.
it's definitely a concern for me because I personally think hardcore is so oversaturated, and I feel like if you go back and listen to like the age of hardcore that we grew up in, like the mid 2000s to like the 2008 and prior, I guess I'll say, they all had generational bands, and then some it that number started getting less and less and less, and like sure there are like bigger bands that are out right now that are like the front runners for like introducing hardcore to people, but overall, like I don't feel like there's a lot of bands out there right now that are going to make such a lasting impact that like 20 years from now there people are going to be like, dude, that was the most incredible band. Like they're playing a reunion show 15 years after they broke up and people are just like dying to see it. That's just, I personally don't think there are a lot of bands out right now that are going to have that kind of an effect later in the future. And I think a lot of that has to do with the oversaturation. I think a lot of good bands get overlooked. And I think a lot of mediocre bands get put in the limelight because they're marketable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, we talk about that because, you know, we try to talk to a lot of bands and stuff. And so this has been things that have come up. And I think that's such a good point that like, there's like almost too much. And I think that's where Trevor's question was coming from, is that like, there's almost too much. And so how do you stay relevant when there's too much fluff going out there? But it ties back to this, like, because you see all these older bands that are coming out in like the last year and a half, 2 years that are releasing new albums. And I feel like they feel a little bit of responsibility of like, stuff's not normal right now in the scene. Like we're going to come back and try and like, as the old head, set the ship right a little bit. Yeah. And I think it's because like with streaming, you got to put all this like crap out there with social media. Like we've talked to some people and they're like, labels, go and check how many followers you have. And it's like, that's kind of crazy to me. Right. Cause you know, like it should be, I don't know, like your local scene is, I feel like losing importance now, you know, like there's less regional sounds, there's less. And so like, we respect you guys and what you're doing. And that's a big part of why I think we've become such a fan of you guys, is because this is a feeling in the scene that is very nostalgic to us. You guys are doing the things that like we grew up on and we absolutely love it. And so, you know, I don't want to like glaze you guys, but like, seriously, we respect that a ton. Cause it's like, this is why we got into it, you know?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And I think that's one of our biggest goals as a band. Like, yeah, we write music that people ended up liking a lot, which we're really appreciative, but like, I wouldn't care if the music was half as good if the substance is there. Like, I just don't want the songs to mean nothing.
Yeah.
That's kind of it for me.
Well, and you know, that goes again back to the mentality that we're talking about as well. Like it's very appreciated that you guys are doing what you want to do. You're playing the sound that you want to play, the messages that are important to you and things like that. Like, listen, by no means are we a podcast that gets even any recognition, but we do this because it's something that Kyle and I are passionate about. We like talking to bands. We like talking about the scene. We like this music and things like that. There is no monetary value to this. There's no recognition value to this. It's 100% just because we want to talk to people like you guys who are doing things that are important that we personally can connect to. And so, yeah, it's a huge breath of fresh air to hear bands doing it right, because like you said, it's so saturated, and there are bands who are just doing everything that everyone else is doing.
And the sad part, I mean, they're not going to be around in a year or two, you know, they're not even going to be able to have a 2-year gap to release a full length, you know, because they'll be in and out. They'll make the next like shoegaze album or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
so sad on that.
Like to shoegaze, like there's some good shoegaze bands out there, but you know, like this is hardcore. You know,
Yeah.
like
There you go.
hardcore is always going to have its time and place. Like
Yes.
a friend of mine once said, "There's no such thing as a fan of hardcore, only participants," and like that resonates because like you don't just kind of like listen to hardcore and that's it. Like you get into hardcore and then you seek out the community and the community does what it does. So you can't just be like a fan of the music, like you have to participate. There's no fans, it's just participants.
Yeah. You can't be hardcore unless you live hardcore.
You know what?
All right. See you guys.
And we're out.
School of Rock.
This episode is going to drop on Monday, but that's right at the end of your guys' weekender that you have coming up.
Yep.
So you guys are playing Cali. Where are you guys playing?
San Francisco, San Luis Obispo,
San
Oxnard.
Luis Obispo.
Huh?
It's not San Luis. It's San Luis Obispo.
I'm sorry,
Slow.
dude. I'm just thinking of my homie Luis from work. San Luis Obispo, Oxnard, and then Pomona.
Yep.
Sick. Okay. Super stoked to catch some clips and stuff of that stuff. Gabe out of
You're gonna see a lot of clips. We're bringing a photographer with us on tour. Our friend Jerry. He's the one that
Nice.
made the music video for Melt.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so he and I have known each other for a long. I've known him since he was a teenager, and now he's such a prominent photographer, not just in Denver, but like all over the country. Bands have taken him to like other countries and stuff like that. But he's doing photo and video for us on this run, and dude, we're so excited about it because he's got such a talent for this.
And he's just cool to hang out with too.
Yeah.
And he's just the
Hey, Rad.
best dude. So we're gonna try to push out as much content for like people to see until, you know, that'll hold us over until like our record release, and then from our record release, we haven't announced it yet, but like we're gonna be doing a tour in June. I'm sorry, we're not coming to Salt Lake.
Yeah, we're going the other direction, unfortunately.
Yeah.
like south?
No.
Midwest.
We're missing Texas too.
Yeah.
That was just a double middle finger right to
Yeah.
the therapy. So
Northeast, actually, we're
Sick.
we're playing a festival in Minneapolis called Minnesota Nice Fest. I think it's the first year it's being done. Excuse me, I just hiccuped. But yeah, we're kind of routing around that, and I think that's going to be the first festival we're ever playing.
sick. So you guys are older, married, jobs, kids, stuff like that. So what is the plan for Eyes of Salt? Like, how much are you guys hoping to tour? Like, what does this look like for you guys over the next? Give me your 5-year plan.
Definitely another full length within 5 years. I mean, for myself, like I can't speak for everybody else, but like when Gary reached out to me to see if I would be willing to, you know, try out, join up, whatever you want to say, I didn't really do anything else other than like I'm married, like hang out with my wife, hang out with my dogs, go to work, play guitar in my basement. So this is really like the only thing I use vacation time for at work, and it's already, you know, even like the reception we got from like the EP to, okay, cool, we're going to shoot for an LP, to getting picked up by War. That's already, I thought I was joining to play like a couple weekend shows and like, that's it kind of thing. But like getting picked up by War and like what we're trying to do and get ready to do is already like exceeded any expectations that I personally had for it. So for me, I'm just going to kind of ride the wave until I can't anymore, because this is really the only other thing I do besides hang out with my wife and my dogs, and that's it. So
Yeah, I think this has been like a therapeutic creative outlet for everybody, and we all have a pretty similar mentality that we want to continue to push the envelope with every aspect of this band. So, you know, you start with the demos, the EP, the next rational thing to do is a full length. You went from putting stuff out yourself, having homies record it, having more professional homies record it, and then sending it off to, Bricktop in Chicago and things like that. So everything is continuing to do little bigger steps in the right direction. War is a big part of that. This tour that we're planning in June, that'll be finalized pretty soon. It'll be the longest tour that we do. So I think for me, I want to keep doing this as long as we're able to. I know this is like the cheapest therapy that we could all have.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not a very good Coloradan. I don't go to the mountains every weekend in the winter. I'm kind of like Aaron. Like, I like football in the fall. I like playing music. Um, and so this has become a pretty big part of my life when I thought I was never going to have this anymore after my teens and my early 20s. So I'll take it as long as the boys want to go forward with it.
Well, I mean, I think your job's safe. I think Aaron's the one who's about to get let go. So,
Yeah, it depends on how the rest of this goes. I might just get kicked out again. So
Yeah,
depends on if my phone dies.
we have to let you back
You
in the
haven't-
band before we kick you out.
He hasn't even rejoined. We already kicked him out.
Oh yeah, we haven't gotten them.
Hang on. Let me.
not even in the
there he goes. Just slide over, Chris. You're good. So.
Okay, nice.
Hey, you're still using my phone.
Well, that's just perks. So,
No,
no, guys,
Chris-
straight
Chris-
up. Oh, go ahead, Gary. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say Chris and Aaron are definitely right. We don't know what the future is going to look like because we never thought we'd even get to this point. And we're kind of seeing a little bit of momentum, and we just want to see where the momentum takes us. Like I don't ever foresee us being like a full-time touring band. Like that's just out of the question. But we're gonna do what we can with the opportunities that we're given, and you'll see some of the opportunities that we've been able to capitalize on. Things are going to start getting announced within like the next few weeks or so. So you'll kind of be able to see like what those opportunities are and why we're so excited about it. So like whenever a new one pops up, like it just gives us more fuel to like want to do it.
Cool.
Sick.
Bummer.
Well,
I was expecting you guys to do the like 300 city Haywire tour. That they
Oh God! I don't think my back and my old knees could take that
Well,
anymore. Being in a vehicle for that long,
We'll do a 10-day leg of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
and I'll need
I
another
think they
week
were
off
just-
after I get home to just recover
Right.
from it too.
We'll bring
I
the
think
foam
they
roller.
were just homeless, and that was their way of like we don't have homes. We're just gonna drive around the country and play shells. We'll just
Totally.
drive people. So
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, respect. Like,
Yes, big time.
seriously.
yeah, because I think they're all our age. Like,
yeah.
yeah, that I think there's a time and place for every band, and I think what Haywire is doing to like really showcase hardcore, like let's fucking go. I think
Yeah.
it's so
It's super, super, super cool.
I love it. And, kudos to them for starting out. They played like small venues. Like I caught them on the tour when they were here in Salt Lake, and they're playing like floor shows and stuff like that. But then they get to go over and play the festivals to, whatever that venue held, 5,000-10,000 people kind of
Yep.
thing. It was
Yeah.
awesome and good for them to be able to capitalize on that. And it's just better for hardcore. More
Yeah.
bands who are getting spotlighted like that, who are being talked about by people outside of the scene. It's just better for all of us.
Yep.
So absolutely incredible.
It's the like the rising tide kind of lifts all ships
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I say it all the time. When the homies win, we all win.
yep.
Yeah. So listen, guys, absolutely phenomenal stuff. Super stoked for the album coming out April 24th. Is that correct?
Yep.
Again, go pre-order it right now on warrex.com. Anything else you guys want to just kind of throw out there? Homies, you want to spotlight? Anything else you want to just chat about real fast?
I think just the shout outs that I want to give is Get in the Van booking. Kate, our booking agent, which is weird to say that we have a booking agent, but she's she's done a lot of really cool stuff for us, and she's working on our tour in June, and she booked our run in California and everything, and she's been awesome. So shout out to Kate, Adam, Get in the Van, Andrew, War Records, and like I could go through and list every single fucking band in Denver hardcore right now, but I don't know if we have enough time for that. But just Colorado hardcore in general, and you know, we actually have a friend or two driving out to our record release from Salt Lake City. So, you know, oh yeah, and Kyle from Mind's Eye and Spent, he's gonna, you know, he's obviously gonna be there. So come on up. Anybody that wants to come, if you come in from out of town for that show, I will guarantee you getting in the show. That's it.
And if you need a place to stay,
Yeah, Aaron has a really sick blow-up mattress with zero.
Oh,
it's got multiple patches on it. It slowly deflates at night.
Yeah.
So if you have a fucked up back at all, not recommended. But
Yeah.
Gary's dealt with it a couple times, so it's fine.
We'll roll out the shag carpet for you for sure.
I mean, Chris is a medical professional. You can give me a chiropractic adjustment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all goes
It's
hand in hand.
It's all the same. Like it's just
Yeah.
part of the body.
It's all the
so no
same.
worries.
And if it doesn't work, I'll run some electricity through your body.
Yeah.
That'll kickstart your heart.
There we go.
No, we definitely appreciate you guys. You know, the shout outs from you guys and the just kind of the support that you guys have had for us already too. So definitely much appreciated there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and kind
Yeah,
of what
shout out.
you're saying, like to us, it doesn't matter if your Small Potatoes podcast, whatever you called it, like you guys are doing this because you love it, and that's why we want to be on here, because we're doing this because we love it. So
Yep.
Keep doing it, and I'm excited to just keep on listening to you guys.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys. So, okay. Well, hey, we really appreciate it. Go catch these guys when they're in town in June. They're going to be rolling through, and go listen to the new stuff. Again, latest song is going to be Hiding Behind Comfort, No Greater Truth, and Melt. But thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, fellas.
So.
Thanks, man.
Bye.